Contact us to avail the combo offer of General Studies and Public Administration optional with 20% discount.
Hello everyone, welcome to Lukmaan IS. Today we are going to have the Hindu analysis of 8th August 2021. Let us see which are the important articles from today's The Hindu newspaper. Yes, these are the important articles. Let us take overview of all these articles first, then we will discuss them one by one in detail. First article, why is retrospective tax being scrapped? Okay, so on page number 11, the explained or FAQ page, which deals with the issues which are important in news in last 1 week, social, political, economic issues which are much relevant to our examination. So in detail they are discussed in the one article itself, all things are given. So yes, here about retrospective taxation. Recently the tax reforms bill, so the amendment is being done to the tax laws, and retrospective taxation that was introduced in 2012, this is now removed. Okay, so we will understand what was the situation at that time, why that was introduced, and now why it is being revoked. Next, how will digital voucher payment system e-rupee work? So again, in one place, in one article itself, all about e-rupee. So what is this system, why it was required, how it will work, and challenges in its implementation. Yes, so this is important from governance and social justice perspective. GS2 paper. Then one of the study has said that Ladakh glaciers retreat due to warming, global warming, and low winter precipitation. So as a case study, you should understand this particular glacier in Jaskar range of Himalayas in Ladakh region. So it is retreating. This study, you can mention this in environment section, GS3 paper or GS1 geography part. Also those who are having geography optional subject, they can use such studies as a references in your answers. Impact of global warming on Himalayan glaciers. Okay, yes. Sundarbans is now drowning in plastic. So this is the major concern, especially after cyclone Yas. So there was continuous help from the rebuilding workers, or we can say that all over India, the workers, relief workers, they entered into Sundarban region for helping purpose, but they brought plastic pollution with them, and this is spreading into Sundarbans. And as Sundarbans are connected to the ocean, there is threat of plastic pollution and microplastic pollution in the region. So we can understand from GS3 paper environment section, we will take input here. Specifically prelims related developments, ancestral Dravidian tongue spoken on Indus Valley sites. One of the publication that says that the Dravidian languages may have been spoken by some of the groups, people living in Indus Valley sites. So this is also a good development in terms of understanding or deciphering the script of Indus Valley civilization at that time. Okay, so history, ancient history, art and culture perspective, this is important. Then Johnson & Johnson vaccine became 5th such vaccine to get emergency nod by the regulatory bodies in India. Okay, so which are the other earlier vaccines? All these things we will discuss them, understand them according to our examination. Yes, so first article, it talks about retrospective taxation. Okay, why is retrospective tax being scrapped? So let us understand this issue here. Okay, so recently our finance minister had introduced taxation laws amendment bill in Lok Sabha, and it seeks to revoke the retrospective taxation or tax provision that was introduced in 2012 budget, union budget. Okay, what is retrospective taxation? What is retrospective taxation? Suppose any transaction that happened in past, so for that transaction also the tax can be levied in future. Okay, so suppose the tax is levied at present, but it is being applied to the past transaction. This is called as retrospective taxation. Let me repeat it. So, if suppose the government is introducing any tax, new tax, and that tax is levied on any past economic transaction, then we can say that this is retrospective application of that tax. Okay. So, such kind of retrospective taxation is not always, we can say, omnipresent throughout the world. So, this is not there, but sometimes in exception cases this is applied. Okay. So, this has backfired. This particular provision that was introduced in 2012 by then Finance Minister Pranab Mukherjee. Okay. So, why it was introduced? You should understand that some of the companies were taking some acquisitions in certain, let's say, companies, foreign companies or multinational companies. At the same time, their profit generation was from the assets in India. Okay. So, whatever the transactions that were being done, they were being done in the tax havens or low tax countries. Okay. So, for example, Ireland is there, Cayman Islands is there. Okay. So, in these countries where we can say that the corporate tax is very low, and therefore, all these transactions were done in those countries. Okay. So, for that purpose, there is some kind of tax avoidance, tax evasion aspect involved here, and therefore, our government felt that such retrospective taxation should be applied to these transactions. So, the two important cases, first Vodafone, okay, and Kane Energy. These two major cases are important, relevant to this retrospective taxation. Vodafone in 2007, it took over some of the stakes in Hutchison company. Okay, and this was done outside India in Cayman Islands. Okay, and later on, in the tax officials from India had issued notice to Vodafone for retrospective taxation on this deal. Okay, so later on in 2012, Supreme Court also gave verdict in favor of company and said that if the transaction has happened outside India between non-residential companies or let's say non-residential Indians, at the same time it is not relevant to the assets in India, then Indian government cannot issue or we can say levy the taxes on that transaction. Okay, so this was the main case. Then Kane Energy case is also important, and this was recently in news. Okay, this Kane Energy is related to oil and natural gas transactions or operations in India. So it entered into oil and gas, natural gas area or economic sector, we can say that, with the own subsidiary Kane Energy India, and then later on sold the stakes in that company to different companies like Vedanta Group. Okay, and therefore this was done again outside India. This was also done outside India, and therefore the company was also asked to pay taxes on those transactions. And this after this transaction, Indian government seized some of the assets of Vedanta Group and Kane Energy also. Okay, so this had led to further these companies moving to some arbitration tribunals at international level, like permanent administration tribunal is also there. So permanent court of arbitration, PCA, where Vodafone had won the case, right? So in this manner you should understand that in both cases, in both company cases, international arbitration tribunals have given the verdict in favor of companies, and therefore Indian government has lost to some extent while dealing with these companies. Recently, Kane Energy had filed many such, let's say, complaints and litigation with the courts, in the courts of US, France and Canada, to seize the property of Indian government or India in those countries. Okay, and recently even France court also allowed to do that. So that's why after such, let's say, decisions, so that's why the government decided to revoke the provision. That's why the government decided to revoke the provision. Though in this article, in this particular newspaper article, each and every detail regarding the timeline and the money involved, the transactions, names of the company is given, but that is not that much important. We have to understand that the examples of two companies, the stand taken by the international tribunals, and why government is now forced to take such decision to revoke, because many countries are now allowing to seize India's properties in these countries. Okay, now what are the proposed changes? Proposed changes says that revoking of tax that was there in 2012, but with some conditions, that companies will take out, or we can say withdraw, all the cases in international tribunals or in other countries against government of India. Okay, at the same time, in return, government of India also says that it will relieve all the seized taxes or repay those taxes which are we can say not taken. Fine. So in this manner the changes are proposed in this new law. Now what may be the impact on foreign investment? Okay, what may be the impact? Surely the impact is on investment environment. So the companies in near future will understand that the government of India is having the right intention. This is the right step taken to correct the wrongs of the past. Okay, and therefore the companies will feel that the government wants to correct itself. In future we may expect more foreign investment. However, we should understand that the government needs to have stable taxation policies, stable, transparent, clear taxation policies. Then only it will build the confidence, it will build government of India's credibility in the eyes of these foreign companies. Okay, so in this manner we should understand this issue. Fine. Okay, moving on to next article, but yes, before that, the kind of question, what is retrospective taxation? Discuss the fallout of such taxation policy in India. So you should discuss all the issues that just now we discussed about these companies, two companies and the litigation. Yes, next article related to governance and social justice, e-rupee. The name of the article, how will digital voucher payment system work? So the context here is e-rupee digital payment system that was introduced by the government recently. So what is e-rupee? First of all, let us understand what is e-rupee. So it is digital voucher payment system. This will be, we can say that, QR code based, at the same time beneficiary, it will be directly delivered to the mobile number of the beneficiary, and it is not at all required that the person or the beneficiary needs to have any kind of, we can say, account number or account in the bank. Okay, so this is basically can be used, or it is developed by National Payment Corporation of India, NPCI. Fine. At the same time, we can understand that this is directly given to beneficiary's mobile number. That means it is non-transferable. It is non-transferable to other person. At the same time, it cannot withdraw or cannot be redeemed at any other places. So it is dedicated for a specific purpose. It is dedicated for specific purpose. Fine. So this is e-rupee. Now, what is the need? In need we can understand that first thing, social justice and welfare measures. Whatever the government is providing benefits under government schemes, there is diversion, there is corruption, and intended beneficiaries are not receiving the benefits. Because of this, new digital voucher system is being used here. This is the need we can understand, focus here. Many people, let's say, do not have the account numbers, active accounts in the banks, and therefore they are not able to receive the benefits. Because of diversion, corruption, also they are not receiving the money. So for that purpose, so as to reduce wastage of public funds, improve efficiency in the system, improve transparency in the system, these are the measures being taken. Okay. So along with that, this is also going to be used by the private sector. Okay, so not only the government welfare measures, but if the suppose private sector wants to implement any welfare measure directly, it can give let's say benefits to beneficiary in terms of such digital vouchers. Now, how does e-rupee work? Where can it be used? Yes, so how does it work? So yes, the government or the private corporate can issue vouchers, digital vouchers. These vouchers can be issued by 11 such notified banks, both private as well as public banks, public sector banks, and these vouchers can be delivered to beneficiaries' mobile number in terms of QR code. Okay, so in this manner it will work. So this particular benefit can be redeemed only at designated place and purpose, for designated purpose and for intended beneficiary. This is how it is going to work. Okay, now where can it be used? So first thing, in government schemes and welfare measures. Second, corporates can implement it in CSR measures or any other welfare measures. Even let's say NGOs, through NGOs corporates can implement these vouchers for the specific purpose to the intended beneficiaries. Any kind of things can be done here, and it ensures that whatever the benefits are to be given, they are reaching to the beneficiaries. Okay, so this is more effective, we can say that. Now, is it digital currency? First of all, we should understand that it is not digital currency. When we say currency, it should be transferable. Okay, it should be transferable from one person to another person. At the same time, it should be redeemable at any other, let's say, point. So it is not there. These vouchers are not redeemable at other places. This is redeemable at exactly designated place. At the same time, it is not transferable from one person to other person. Okay, so for that reason we will say that it is not digital currency. but we can say that if it is being successfully used, this particular system, then in future digital currency may be successfully used by the people, because people may be getting aware about these virtual transactions, how they are happening. Okay, they will be understanding what are the nitty-gritties involved in such virtual transactions. Okay, digital system. And finally, what are the challenges in implementation? The major challenge here is about the gender gap. Gender gap in mobile phones, or mobile numbers, or mobile phones. So it is said that there is around 30% gender gap still is there, especially in rural areas, that women are not having mobile phones or mobile number. So as it is directly the QR code based directly delivered to the beneficiary's mobile number, how women as an important, let's say, vulnerable section of the society will receive these benefits? This is the major challenge that we have to overcome here. This is specifically, we can say, mobile based what you can say, benefit delivery, or we can say that service delivery mechanism here. Fine. So this is the major challenge that we have to overcome, and in future we can understand that the government may come up with alternative for the mobile phones also. Yes, what is e-rupee? The question, how does it work? Explain its benefits in achieving welfare objectives. Okay, so you can discuss all these issues here. You can talk about how it works and welfare objectives, social justice and government schemes and its effective implementation. Okay, yes, fine. Next, Ladakh glacier. Ladakh glacier retreat due to warming, low winter precipitation finds. The name of the glacier is Pensilungpa Glacier in Zaskar range of Ladakh. Okay, Zaskar range of Ladakh, Pensilungpa Glacier. So this is studied by the scientists, and for last 5 years they have studied, so 2015 to 2019 they have studied this, and they are saying that it is retreating at this rate, 6.7 plus or minus 3 meter per annum. This is the retreating rate of this glacier. So as Zaskar range or this glacier lies in the rain shadow region, or we can say cold desert region of Ladakh, so this receives this ice, or we can say that moisture in terms of snowfall, winter snowfall especially, and this is decreasing. Precipitation is decreasing, and there is increase in global temperatures due to global warming. These are the two reasons given by the scientists. Now, in future, it is also suggested that due to continuous rise in air temperature in line with global trend, the melting would increase. Surely this is, we all know that accepted fact. It is possible that the precipitation of the summer periods at higher altitudes will change from snow to rain, and that may influence the summer and winter patterns in that region. Okay, so in this manner we should understand how this fragile Himalayan ecology is at work, especially in Ladakh region, cold desert region. Okay, so any changes in the glaciers that are happening because of global warming are having micro level as well as macro level impacts, consequences in India. Okay, so in this manner you can give this let's say case study or reference whenever we are talking about geography. GS1 paper already UPSC asked question on global warming and we can say melting of glaciers, ice caps, the impact on the water resources of India. This was the question asked in mains examination. Similarly, in GS3 paper we can expect such question, impact of global warming on the Himalayan glaciers, right? So you should be aware about such studies here that are happening. Now, Sundarbans is now drowning in plastic. So what is happening there? After cyclone Yas, there was relief work being done in the Sundarban region where the devastation by the cyclone Yas was there. Now, due to this relief work, what happened is, so relief workers brought plastic water bottles and they disposed everywhere in that region. Now this plastic is accumulating on the isolated islands of the fragile ecosystem and are cause of great concern. We can understand that this is not at all responsible behavior. On one side, the relief workers went there for helping people, and in turn we are affecting the ecology there. So this is recognized not only by environmentalists but also local police. They are calling it as a major concern there. Okay, and they have urged locals and NGOs to organize cleanliness drive to remove that plastic from Sundarbans. Let us understand impact of such plastic pollution in Sundarbans region. First and foremost, it will increase the toxicity of water gradually, and also there will be eutrophication of water. What is eutrophication? Eutrophication is increase in the chemical nutrient amounts in the waters, which leads to algal growth and reduce dissolved oxygen in water, and that leads to death of fish in that region. Okay, so second impact is because of the presence of plastic in the water, there will be increase in microplastic. So plastic will degrade into microplastic, and this microplastic are major concern as they will slowly enter into food chain through bioaccumulation, biomagnification. Okay, so this will enter into food chain, like fish will inhale that, and then fish will be eaten by human beings later on. Again, that will lead to biomagnification. It will affect human being ultimately. Okay, so this is the major concern, and then we can say that as Sundarbans are connected to oceans, Bay of Bengal, Indian Ocean, ultimately it will have spillover into the ocean region. That means plastic waste will enter into ocean, leading to marine pollution. Fine, so in impact you should be aware about what is happening there. Ancestral Dravidian tongues spoken on the Indus Valley sites. So one of the paper publication, it talks about ancestral Dravidian languages were possibly spoken by a significant population in the Indus Valley civilization. Okay, so some of the words, letters were analyzed by the experts, and they are saying that they have some kind of similarity. For example, elephant words Pilu, Palla, Pallava, Pilluvam, which are attested in various Dravidian dictionaries, are related to Proto-Dravidian tooth word Pal. Similar kind of wordings are used in the Indus Valley civilization, though we can understand that the absence of any deciphered written documents of Indus Valley civilization, there are no direct ways of identifying Harappan language. At present, the only problem that we have is we have not deciphered Harappan civilization language. Okay, we are not able to decipher that, all scientists or experts. So this is good stage, good step towards that, in that direction. Fine? Yes. And finally, Johnson & Johnson vaccine became 5th such vaccine to get emergency nod by Drugs Controller General of India, the regulator. Okay, so earlier 4 vaccines which got emergency use are Covishield, Covaxin, Sputnik 5 and Moderna vaccine. Okay, so these are the 4 vaccines, and now the Johnson & Johnson single dose vaccine. This is the first such vaccine, single dose vaccine of Johnson & Johnson. Fine? Yes. So these were important articles from today's The Hindu newspaper. Thank you.
Contact us to avail the combo offer of General Studies and Public Administration optional with 20% discount.